in hopes of gaining knowledge maybe about PDF remediation. I'm Weston Gentry. I'm part of the web team here at UTC.
I'm David Wood. I'm the AI technical lead in IT.
And we just found out actually that we have an AI technical lead at UTC, which is really cool. It's what is the AI and innovation?
I'm part of the Department of Data Innovation.
Data innovation, yeah. So
it started 2 weeks ago. So
yeah.
I've been with UTC for 9 years now.
Yeah, and I've been with UT. I've lost count. UTC since 2016. In and out of different roles, different departments, and now with communications and marketing. David's with IT, so we have a good representation and we work well together. So, yeah, so let's get started. Really, it's going to start with where are we, and really it should be where were we, because we are now in the future. We had the ADA Title II Web Accessibility Rule came out in April 2024, and it all state and local government websites and mobile apps and any service needed to have WCAG or WCAG. I was going to actually make a joke there. Who says WCAG and who says WCAG? Yeah, you guys you really helped me. All right, so yeah, WCAG, WCAG 2.1 level A compliance, and for those that don't know about web and accessibility, that's literally the standard. It's what we try and follow, what we have been following on the website for quite some time now. And then let's see. So talking about our deadline, the deadline for UTC to meet this compliance is April 24th, 2026. Unfortunately, and fortunately, I guess, for all of us that are employed by UT, we meet a 50,000 population or institute threshold, and that really doesn't mean 50,000 employees. That means how many people we have like a purview over or influence over. So students, anybody really that sees UT. And what applies? So all student-facing content. In our case, what we're focusing on is utc.edu and our blog site, which it's mostly a lot of news articles. There's faculty and staff sites and different research sites on the blog. And then also we are kind of charged with also auditing any third-party vendor sites or services that we use at UTC. So we also have prioritizing for that the alt text, video captions, kind of the stuff we always think about with accessibility, any screen reader support and keyboard navigation. So not only does this apply to our web pages, but also our digital documents, specifically in our case, PDFs. They're a hot topic now. They are the digital document standard. So, and then of course exceptions are to this rule are archive content, some pre-existing documents out there, and then while it is an exception, third-party content is still going to be under our audit just to do due diligence there. So where are we going? And where are we going? Again, the whole in the future thing. We started with a web accessibility task force. I get to chair that, yay me. And it's comprised of more than 20 members from around UTC's campus, so a good representation. And we had three primary goals. Goal one, we needed to get our editors and the task force members, for that matter, really our campus trained in what is WCAG, WCAG 2.1 AA compliance. What does that mean? And what we started with and are currently working towards is getting all of our users inside of our Silktide Q&A accessibility tool It's kind of a competitor to SiteImprove if anybody's ever used SiteImprove. We found it really helpful for what we were using it for. They had courses on accessibility already built that were very thorough. They were actually meeting 2.2 AA standard, so that was really helpful as well. And then we worked with the Walker Center here on campus, specifically on PDFs and making them accessible using Adobe Acrobat. So we had 3 different sessions. They were all recorded, and that's going to be part of our training as well for new editors. And then the goal 2 was to audit. I'm just going to have to click here. There we go. Was to audit all third-party apps, services, and web pages, and essentially deliver our findings to the different departments that use those. And then lastly, goal 3, which is what we are all here for, which is performing an accessibility audit and remediation, essentially researching how are we going to remediate these thousands of PDFs that we don't really even know where they are, how many we have yet. So how can we research this? How can we do this in bulk? And then also, how can we remediate these individually for future PDFs? Let's go ahead and... So now, again, PDFs, this is kind of a recap. We got a looming date of April 2026. That's coming fast. PDFs for pretty much all institutes right now are, that is the monster in the closet. You don't know what's there. You don't know how big it is. And, so we're going to need to audit, and we've defined it, all student-facing PDFs on our 2 sites. We need to know how many we actually are looking at, and how to make them accessible. And we need to determine, are these PDFs ones that we can actually remediate or archive or delete? All right, so there's our challenge. Where are the PDFs and how do we find them? Drupal is our CMS for our main site, and it's great if you use Drupal to upload the PDF. If you didn't, and it's externally hosted and linked on a site, you're not going to find it. We have, again, our Silktide software, which is a great accessibility tool, but per our contract, it's currently limited to 2,000 scanned PDFs, which we quickly reached that maximum there. Plus, it's only scanning utc.edu right now. And then we have an option to perhaps pay for a third party, which would relieve a great amount of stress for us. However, and it would save time. But as we know, you can't have things. Good, cheap, and fast. You can only have 2. So that would definitely be expensive. And this is a system-wide problem. So we are working with UT, and we can't just kind of go rogue, really. Which kind of brings us to our third option, which is a custom solution. And we hope that this is something that is going to be cheap, scalable, quality work, and quickly delivered. It's not asking much, right? I mean, for a couple of guys that are underpaid and underappreciated. No, no, we're good. We're good. Turn it over to David now.
All right, so we decided to go with a custom solution, and so I'm going to go over the why. So there's generic crawlers out there. You can use Python packages, anything like that, to start crawling websites. But they're kind of the development time with that. There's limitations to what they collect, and then you have to deal with either purchasing or providing an enterprise solution. There's enterprise solutions where you pay someone to go and find them for you, but those are expensive. We're looking at 6-figure investments for that. And the timeline it doesn't allow for us to like scope out a project with an enterprise solution, get all the legal work done, vendor reviews, security assessments, procurement processes all get in the way of our timeline. We could also do manual audits where we send out our web editors to look at them, but that's going to cost us the time and has human error. They can't work on other things, so.
And we would cry.
And Weston will cry. So I originally created Scrappy Scraper, which is my web scraper that I developed for AI scraping of the website. And so it does things like a breadth first scraping, so it goes wide before it goes deep. It's resume friendly, so we had the requirement that we could only scrape from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m., so it needed to be able to stop and start. It uses a JSON file. I called it a frontier state, and so it knows where it needs to go looking next after it's recorded what it already has done. It's domain constrained, so it doesn't leave our domain. We don't care if you link outside of UTC, we just want our PDFs. And then the metadata gathering was customized so that while we were scraping the site, I downloaded the entire web page so that we could see the context of where the PDFs are, what links to them, everything like that. And it's going to be useful for creating AI chatbots in the future with the information that we collect from those web pages. And then it's also rate limited so that the web team doesn't yell at me when I crash servers or anything like that. Got to be respectful. So that brings us to how we got our PDFs. We used the web scraper. We found 3,300 PDFs on just utc.edu. We have the metadata to go find them or to create another custom solution which will download them all, which I did, and we found that we have 27,000 pages across those 3,300 PDFs. Our LMS system, Canvas, has 147,000 faculty uploaded PDFs. We don't know how many pages those
Wasn't
are.
that within the last 6 months or something like
That was for 2025, the upload count for. So there's a lot of PDFs that need to be taken care of. So let's let AI do it. So Arizona State University's AI Cloud Innovation Center developed and open sourced a fantastic project for PDF remediation. It's production quality code designed to solve exactly the problem we're facing. The solution is deployed in Amazon Web Services using a simple deployment script. I have a little bit of cloud experience. It took me 5 minutes to deploy this, and I just had to press 1 on a keyboard to get it to go. It leverages the Adobe PDF Services API, which handles everything from compression, splitting out text, all these great things that you can do. It's the leading standard for PDF solutions. So we specifically looked at the PDF to PDF solution, but they also have PDF to HTML, and then you can deploy it in tandem with the others. And so with the PDF solution, we're going to hit 80 to 90% compliance after a PDF goes through that workflow, which is a lot better than not knowing how compliant it is to begin with and then manually remediating. This whole project is serverless, so we only pay for what we use. There are no idle servers burning money. The system automatically scales whether we're processing 1 PDF or 1,000. And there's no infrastructure to babysit, no servers to patch, no operating systems to maintain. It's also AI powered. It uses the Amazon Nova Pro foundational model for vision and language tasks. It's a very cheap model because it's provided by Amazon. It understands the context, so it knows that a table is a table within a PDF. It's not just a row of text. It generates meaningful alt text based on image content and surrounding page context. The prompts are carefully engineered for WCAG compliance with special handling for equations, subscripts, and superscripts. It's enterprise-ready features, so we can bulk process 50 PDFs, go get coffee, and come back to 50 compliant, mostly compliant documents. Everything is logged for audit trails and reporting. And I think that's going to be a big part about this. If we can't reach the deadline, we have to show that we're making efforts. There's a CloudWatch dashboard that shows exactly what's happening in real time, so you can monitor it live while you're testing it. So I'm going to kick off a quick demo of that platform.
You want to share this down? Yeah, there we go.
So this is the web interface. It's in demo mode. So you can see up here I only have 8 PDF remediations left. We haven't branded this with any UTC components. It's just simply uploaded. And so users come in. They can choose the PDF to PDF service. If we had installed the PDF to HTML, it would be right there. And so you just click Upload PDF. And I've got an inaccessible PDF example, and I'll open that in just a second. I'm just going to kick off this workflow so that it's running. So let's take a look at that PDF. This was used in our training with the Walker Center, so it's purposely really terrible. You can see that there's not really any headings actually in there. There's images with no alt text. There's this low contrast gray text that is hard to read. There's a fake table and a link, and it does not have alt text with it either. And so this is a very inaccessible PDF, and our solution is going to get it as far as we can.
One note on that PDF is that whole session was on actually fixing that one PDF, and it took Heather maybe 30 to 40 minutes
For that single page.
Yeah, to walk through it with everybody and demonstrate that.
Mm-hmm. So while that runs, we'll pop back over. All right. So there's a bunch of AWS resources that get used, but I'm going to cover the main ones for the workflow. AWS Amplify is the hosting platform with built-in authentication, storage, and API management. It supports CI/CD pipelines, and so that's really what's serving the user interface. Amazon S3 Simple Storage service. It's object storage, so that's where uploaded PDFs go after they're uploaded to the UI. We store processed PDFs in a separate bucket, so everything goes into their own little neat places, and it's a very reliable and infinitely scalable solution for your cloud infrastructure. AWS Fargate is serverless containers. It uses, this is where we run our compute-intensive remediation tasks without requiring us to manage underlying servers or infrastructure. We define the resource requirements, and then Fargate handles the rest. AWS Lambda are event-driven compute. So you can plug in your Python code or whatever into a Lambda function, and it gets called during events. It uses AWS step functions to orchestrate all these tasks, and so we'll see that too. And then, of course, Amazon Bedrock is where you get foundational models from. So it's a single API endpoint where you can use any of the AI that Amazon offers, and they offer a lot. So, of course, there's the Adobe resources. So it's the Adobe PDF Services API. It's a REST API providing comprehensive PDF capabilities such as creation, conversion, OCR, compression, text extraction, splitting, merging, and most importantly for us, accessibility tagging. API credits are sold as document transactions, and you must be purchased in advance. So you need to bust out that chest of gold. All right, so let me introduce you to Bob. Bob is sad. Bob's IT department told him he couldn't upload his PDF to the website without it being WCAG 2.1 level AA compliant. Bob has no idea what that means or how to do it. Bob's situation is incredibly common. With the DOJ mandate, millions of existing PDFs suddenly became non-compliant overnight. For universities especially, this created a massive challenge. Course materials, research papers, Administrative documents, faculty publications, all potentially inaccessible. Bob doesn't want to become a PDF accessibility expert. He just wants to share his document. Let's see how the system helps Bob. Luckily for Bob, his IT department provisioned him an account to access the PDF remediation solution. Bob is happy because he doesn't have to learn complex remediation techniques. He just logs into a website and uploads his PDF. The system needs to be user-friendly so that faculty and staff can use it without extensive training. That's going to be critical for us. So there he goes. He uploads it into the UI. And we're going to follow the journey of that PDF. Bob's PDF is downloaded directly to an S3 bucket that stores all unremediated PDFs. Administrators can access the bucket directly, so you can build your own custom solution for getting your PDFs there. You don't have to use the web interface. This dual mode operation makes the system flexible for both individual uploads and enterprise scale processing. Once a PDF lands in the initial bucket, an S3 event automatically triggers the first Lambda function. This is event-driven architecture, so there's no scheduled jobs, checking for new files, or anything like that. The moment a file appears, processing begins. This Lambda function intelligently chunks large documents while preserving logical boundaries. It's not randomly splitting the pages on some page count. It's important to maintain context of the PDF across, since we're going to use AI to remediate it. Each chunk gets stored in an S3 bucket for parallel processing. Bob's PDF was large enough to be split into 2 chunks. AWS step functions handle the orchestration, allowing us to process multiple chunks in parallel. This dramatically reduces processing time for large documents. Each chunk is sent to the Lambda function responsible for the pre-accessibility check using the Adobe PDF Services API. This creates our baseline for reviewing the remediation that was done. Each chunk is processed by a containerized worker running on ECS Fargate. These containers are ephemeral. They spin up, do their work, and then shut down. We're only paying for the compute time actually used. This containerized approach gives us isolation, reproducibility, and the ability to scale horizontally as needed. The first Fargate container uses the Adobe PDF Services API to handle automatic tagging. This is where structure gets added to the document. The API extracts all text and tables from the document. Python functions then create a table of contents by analyzing the heading structure. And then it uses AWS Comprehend, which is a service I didn't mention, that detects the dominant language in the article. This is important for multilingual PDFs. We're not just remediating English here. We need to handle every language. The next Fargate container handles the AI magic, and this is where things get really sophisticated. Written in JavaScript, this container implements a context-aware alt text generation system. First, it creates an SQLite database that maps each image to its surrounding page context, including nearby text, other images on the same page, and the document structure as a whole. This contextual mapping is crucial because it allows AI to understand not what's in an image, but where it appears and what it relates to on the page. Then each image is sent to Amazon's Nova Pro, along with its full page context. Once again, the prompts are carefully engineered for the compliance check, and so it only outputs descriptive alt text. Hyperlinks are also sent. Most people don't think about the hyperlinks when they're remediating. They do need to be descriptive and talk about their function and where they take you to. And finally, it reassembles the entire PDF with all the new elements that were generated. And now we move on to the process of aggregation. So we have the 2 chunks. A Lambda function merges the process chunks back together. It preserves the accessibility structure across chunk boundaries. It's not just concatenating files together. The full document is then sent to another Lambda function where text samples are sent to the Nova Pro model to generate a descriptive title. This title gets added to the document metadata, improving discoverability and screen reader experience. The PDF goes through one final accessibility check using the Adobe API. This post-processing check validates what we've accomplished. Once complete, the PDF and compliance results are stored in the final S3 bucket, and compliant is pre-appended to the file name so it's immediately identifiable. The Amplify UI updates to show the completed workflow. Bob can now download both his remediated document and a detailed compliance report. The compliance report is crucial. It compares pre and post accessibility checks and tells Bob exactly what remains to be manually verified. Things like color contrast of text, complex table validation, and reading order confirmation. Bob downloads both items and then reads his organization's training documents to complete the final manual steps. The system got him 80 to 90% of the way there automatically. He just needs to handle the last mile. The beauty of this is that Bob didn't need to understand any of the technical complexity we just walked through. He uploaded a PDF and got a mostly compliant PDF back.
Yeah, so next steps. One is we've already created a lot of Bobs that have been sad, and we haven't yet been able to implement our solution. And why is that? Well, we're using a free Adobe account right now that is limited to 500
document transactions.
Document transactions. We uploaded one 10-page document that used 104 of our 500. So that being said, we need to purchase Adobe's PDF Services API, and that's in the works with again the UT system, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, but that spans all of the UT system. I know everybody's shaking their head. Sally, I promise it's fine. And then, so it equates to about 6 cents a page. I think that's what we figured out. It was about 6 cents a page. So, did you want to show? You wanted to show that real quick.
For non-compliance.
It's a lot cheaper.
Units, right?
Yeah, right. So while we were speaking, while David was speaking, we ran the report. It took 3 minutes and 2 seconds as opposed to the 30 to 40 minutes that it could have taken a faculty member or one of us. And we got pretty good results, I would say.
Yeah.
One failed, and we have to do 2 manual checks. So
Right.
so we were pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and if you click up here on the before or after, it downloads a JSON file of the pre-accessibility check and the post-accessibility check. I'm not going to dig through the detailed report, but I'll tell you that it is the rows on that PDF that were the problem. It couldn't figure out how to handle them because it was so poorly made. Once you're done reviewing your report, you have your download PDF file. We can pop it open.
And it completely deletes the PDF, so we're
Yep.
covered.
Yep.
I don't think it's loading properly, is it?
No. That's probably my computer problem.
That's all right. Yeah. We were going to just do a video and say, hey, it worked.
There we go. So you can see
Yeah.
that it still looks the same, but everything is now properly tagged. The image does have alt text. I'm not a Adobe Pro, so I'm not sure how
Yeah,
to show
we would
that.
have to go into the accessibility tools
And
to actually see all
Adobe
that.
is
But, yeah.
crashing, so we'll go
Or
back
use
to
a screen reader, and
Mhm.
neither of us know
And
how
so
to use
that fake table down there, the rows and column names aren't figured out by the AI because of how it was oriented. And that is the one remaining problem. And also that low contrast gray text, there's no sort of check for that. So you'll have to do that manually.
Yeah. Okay. And back to our next steps here. So we've got a lot of progress there. We're happy with a lot of that. What else needs to happen? We need to Casify it. That's our central authentication system. All UTC employees, faculty, staff, and students, we can limit it to who we choose, but they can log in and immediately use the remediation tool, just like we were shown. We need to brand it and localize it. If Bridget were in here, she would have been very upset to see that it was Arizona State's colors, but limited time, again, sorry. And then we need to develop our, I don't know where my mouse is. Where's my mouse? Is it over here? Oh, he's over here. He's opposite direction. There we go. So we need to be able to retrieve the content, store it in a bucket and retrieve it from the final bucket. And then we need to document it and maintain it, and deliver more cool AI features. Again, we would rather be on Skynet's good graces before Armageddon and showing how cool AI is. So. And then we've got several links referencing Arizona State, the API services, and David's Scrappy Scraper. And yay! There was a little yay sound too. I guess I don't get off. Oh,
It's so loud.
Yeah. So questions, and we probably won't be able to provide all the answers, but we'll take questions. You do have, I guess, some here.
Comment? You need to talk to him.
What was the model you're using from Amazon? You said?
It's Nova Pro. It's just one of their, it's their model. They trained it themselves. It's really cheap. It's the reason it's used. But you can slot in your own models. Anything from Amazon Bedrock is available. So that's Claude, Mistral. I can go into a whole bunch of models, but yeah.
Yeah, I do want to take this time. Thank you, David, for all the hard work. I know I've thanked you a few times, but you've done a great job, man. I really appreciate it. Did you raise something?
No, I was scratching.
Oh, okay.
By the way, the AI turning things into Lego minifigures has become my new latest fun thing.
Yeah.
The group photo I just took converted it into Lego minifigures.
Yeah. Well, we were inspired by Dries. He did that for the DrupalCon.
Yeah. Can you guys talk a little bit about what open source projects you leveraged for this?
Yeah, so that whole Amazon workflow is open source from Arizona State. So it has the deployment script. It's all written by them. And then Scrappy Scraper is one that I open sourced for the polite crawling of the website. It uses a particular user agent so that it doesn't get flagged as a crawler. Thank you for that, by the way.
We permit that in Cloudflare.
Cloudflare, yeah. So I can get in there and steal the
I think
data.
we started looking at blog as well, right?
Yeah, we started looking at blog. There's some complications with blog. There's some IPv6 addressing errors that I've come across, so that was interesting. But everything's being logged, and so I think I kicked it off on Friday night, and I haven't checked it yet. It'll be interesting to see how many PDFs we find on that one. It didn't look too heavy. I think I was 500 pages in with only 66 PDFs. So there was about 10,000 more pages to go, though.
Yeah, the blog is huge.
Yeah.
So we'll put on client hat here. Like if I go to upload a PDF or go to use this to, check my PDF before I upload, what's about the wait time that I'd expect for the turnaround on an accessible PDF?
Yeah, so as you saw, that 1.5 page, I guess, PDF was about 2 to 3 minutes. The 10-page was...
It's like 10 minutes. A lot of the time, the delay is for all the containers to spin up because they're sleeping. We're the only users right now, so they all have to be activated. But if it was like more heavily used, everything would be live, and so it would be a lot faster.
We haven't tried bulk yet because we would run out within 2 or 3 PDFs.
Yeah. So,
Would there be a way for me to check something to say keep it hot because I'm gonna let's say I'm doing a course development and I need to upload, I have all my PDFs generated and I just need to do one after the other. So could I do a batch process where I say, okay, I've got 10 ready to go. The first one will take some time to spin up, but then the next 8 PDFs will run faster.
yeah, that's something we're still trying to figure out. For people who have a bunch of PDFs, it doesn't make sense to go through a web interface and upload them one at a time. So that's probably where you'd partner with like IT and be like, here's where all my PDFs are, or you provide them to us, and then we just dump them in the bucket and get them done and send them to you.
Because I'm kind of thinking about like turnaround time, because there may be something, you know, doing technical documentations, there may be a certain way that I want something to look, and I need like a quick turnaround on like seeing what the accessibility does to that PDF, so then I can like set it up in a way to preempt it, so when it comes out of the accessibility function, it looks like what I want it to.
Yeah, as you saw too, and you mentioned tables could be problematic. So if you're talking about scientific data that you've got charts for, things that we really are going to have problems with are all of the image captured notes that are just placed into the PDF. You know, running OCR on it might work, may not work. So it's going to be an experiment, and I mean, striving for 80%, 90% compliance on any one PDF would be great. We would be happy with that.
Yeah.
But again, much like David mentioned, we're just trying to move the needle. So when April does come, we can show we were here, now we're here. So
PDF, looking at the design with that in mind.
You know, I mean, I don't know if you looked at DocLane with the IBM library for AI parsing of documents, because it does node positioning of the PDF, so it breaks down columns and paragraphs and images and things.
what was that?
DocLane,
Yeah.
DOCLING. It'll help you with, you know, figuring out what's on each page, with images and break down multiple columns and stuff.
Yeah, it keeps the structure
Yeah.
of the document rather than just.
Positional parsing,
Here's all
as opposed to
text
just doing a
on
whole
that.
image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do a scanned image, that's the hard part, is getting multiple columns,
Mhm.
because it wants to read across the line. So it'll break down each paragraph and each column that way it is, and even if it has smaller images with, you know, subtext underneath it or something, it pulls that apart too, so you know where they come from on the page.
Right. Yeah, so the solution does handle like OCR PDFs, so
Yeah.
it'll do its best, and then I think it's about 80% accurate as it is,
Yeah.
and then it does
Yeah,
preserve the
at
structure.
least we were at All Things Open, and I've seen it before with AI parsing of documents, and we watched a demo with IBM that's who built it and open sourced it, so it's something that
Yeah.
you might be able to look at
We
it.
might use it
help
under the
refine,
hood
you know, what
here.
your process is.
I'm not sure.
Since we've started the task force, I know there's been 3 to 4 webinars from different organizations, like SiteImprove did host one, and the UT system hosted one, but it's on everybody's radar now. I cannot imagine that others aren't progressing with this. I mean, Arizona State, Iowa State, and Ohio State, I think all of them have done something recently. So, all right. We finished a little early unless anybody else has more questions.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.